Hi guys, I'm back to explain to you what you've been doing over the couple of days. Oh, someone's at the door. Come in.
Mommy got some mail.
I got mail again. Come in and say hi
Hi.
to the class.
Hi.
What's your name?
Callan.
Callan, by popular demand, you've been asked to be in the videos. Dear Mrs. Perno, what exactly is electricity and what in the world?
Can I go downstairs now?
Yes.
Me?
Yep. Are you going to eat gum?
Yeah.
Oh boy. What exactly is electricity and what in the world is a turbine and a generator? Love, every confused 8th grade science student. All right, let's get to that. All right, guys, I am here to go over days 1, days 2, and days 3 of our renewable versus non-renewable energy resources web quest. So I hope that you did the work beforehand by clicking on and watching these short videos and these links to see what it is first. So it's really helpful to learn something if you try it yourself and then watch the answer key. So if you have not tried this yourself, please stop this video, go back and try it yourself, and then come back and check your answers. So our summary from part 1 was overall, where do we get our energy resources? Well, that's a great question. We have different resources. We have different sources from where we get our resources, such as fossil fuels, which is natural gas, oil, coal, and we have a lot of you here might have solar panels on your house, so you're actually using solar energy. And your calculators probably use solar energy as well to use if they're not battery powered. So you might not know, but you might be using solar energy around your house. So what's electricity? Well, don't forget, electricity is the flow of electrons in one direction, going through metal wiring that supply electrical charge to the things we need to use around our house that require electricity. And in general, how is energy resources converted into electricity? So this is the little confusing part. So the use of a generator or a turbine will convert fossil fuel or wind energy or hydro energy or thermal energy to create electricity. So let me go over, I have these pictures here. So this is actually a turbine. A turbine is a machine that produces continuous power, which these wheels, this thing right here is a wheel, it will spin, and this is inside a generator. So it spins either heat, it spins water that goes through it, it spins wind that goes through it, and they revolve very fast using the flow of water, wind, steam, gas, or air to create electricity in the generator. And then the generator, which I know what you're saying. Hey, we have a generator at home, but that doesn't look like it. Well, this is the part that's like inside the generator that is creating your electricity. So your turbine is in here and it's spinning and it's spinning and it's producing the electricity from the wind, the steam, whatever type of source you're using it. And then the electricity comes out and you hook it up to whatever that you want electricity from. So you'll find a ton of these generators in power places, power plants that produce electricity for us. I know my electrical wires that come from the street are built underground. Some of you might have electrical wires that are coming from power plants that are above ground. So when we have windstorms or ice storms, a lot of you with the above ground power sources lose power to your house, where I rarely lose, knock on wood, rarely lose electricity because our wires are underground. All right, so let's get back to our answer key. All right, so that's how we convert electricity. So that was day 1. Day 2 was renewable energy. So renewable energy could be wind. We don't produce a lot of wind in New York, so you don't really see a lot of wind mills or the windmills around. You see them at the beach where you got some wind. You see them out west in the deserts. I don't know if you've ever flown to LA or California. You do fly over a lot of places and they're kind of like windmill farms. So they'll take that wind energy, it will pass through the turbine, which then spins the generator, which then will produce your wind energy into electrical energy. Solar energy, energy from the sun, is stored in these panels, whatever you're using it for. And then when you want to use it, it will convert into electrical energy. Also, energy from the sun is used in photosynthesis for plants and trees to make food. So you might not, it doesn't have to be electrical, but we are using energy, solar energy, for other sources like plants. Geothermal, geo meaning earth, thermal meaning heat. So heat from the earth that is used to drive an electrical generator. So geysers out west, they'll use this heat and the steam will spin through the turbine, which will spin the generator. Biomass, so burning wood, plants, corn, biomass is they were trying to make cars that were fueled from biomass. So that is, a lot of scientists are doing research in that field. And hydropower is water. So I'm thinking out in Utah, they have the Hoover Dam, and they use that power. They use that water in the Hoover Dam as it's moving through the dam to produce a ton of electricity out west. Okay, so quickly, a renewable resource can be replenished quickly. The supply is not limited. Advantages: you use less fossil fuels, which create pollution in our atmosphere. You also use less fossil fuels and limit the depletion of the non-renewable resources. But some disadvantages are the up cost front. The money is expensive. So to put solar panels on your house, upfront is very expensive, but over time, you end up really not paying a lot for your electricity from National Grid at all. Renewable, they're still here. So diagram 1 is showing you solar panels. It's collecting the sunlight. A lot of the signs on the highways are used by solar energy. Diagram 2 is showing you wind energy. Diagram 3 is showing you geothermal, so your geysers, your hot springs. And 4 is actually a picture of a dam and using that water to create electricity. Part 3, again, pause this video if you have not done part 3 yet, because part 3 is Monday, April 6th work. So hit pause and come back. Okay, so part 3 is looking at your non-renewable energy resources. And I'm actually seeing a typo here. Non-renewable energy resources. So if it's not fixed in yours, could you go ahead and fix that for me? Coal. So coal is dead plants compressed over millions and millions of years. There are major coal plants in Pennsylvania. That's because about 250 million years ago, the United States was at the equator, so it's a very tropical environment. So these dead plants became compressed, and we had a lot of vegetation in the eastern part of the United States that created this coal. You could also find coal. There's coal that was found in Antarctica, because Antarctica was also by the equator at this time. You may have remembered it in 6th grade, known as Pangea, when all the continents were one giant landmass. And by the equator, tropical, lots of coal formed. Unfortunately, though, when coal is burned, it puts a lot of pollution and soot into our atmosphere. Oil. You'll notice when people or scientists drill for oil, they are drilling in the ocean because this is from dead marine organisms buried underground with heat and pressure. Also, another tidbit for you guys, the United States was once covered by a warm, shallow sea. So yes, we do have some natural oil that is found in New York State. You might have heard maybe people talk about hydrofracking to get that oil because we were once underwater. So that's how those dead marine organisms were buried underneath New York rock. Natural gases are gases that are found underground and very flammable that could be released and used for energy. And nuclear, there are nuclear power plants that will take atomic reactions caused by nuclear fission, and that produces a ton of energy, but it is very dangerous in case like Chernobyl or I'm forgetting exactly, but there was a nuclear power plant spill, so it could be very dangerous. So non-renewable resource is a resource that is limited in supply and cannot be replaced, or resources that are used up and more quickly than they can be replaced. So it takes hundreds of years to replace. Advantage, it's easy to come by, it's cheap, and can be stored for a later time. Disadvantages, environmental pollution, they can completely be used up. And then for nuclear, it's very dangerous if there was a nuclear spill. So diagram 1 is showing you some coal, which, I think my one child might be getting in his stocking after being homeschooled for 4 weeks with his mom. Diagram 2 is showing natural gas. A lot of you might use natural gas in your house if you have a gas stove, or you might have a gas fireplace or gas fire pit, which is different than the propane tank for your barbecue. That's a different type of gas. 3 is oil, and 4 would be nuclear. All right, so that sums up a quick lesson as I would have went over it in class. And I'll come back so you can see my lovely face. All right, so that's the lesson on renewable and non-renewable resources. And Kellen is using electricity. Oh, that he charged the battery in his headphones, right? And now he's using that electricity. He's taking that chemical stored energy and using it as coming out as sound energy and electrical energy. So let's say goodbye, Kellen.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
And close my gum.
Ew, okay.